Nobody can tell me that God is not patient.
Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is your girl, TheFairyMuva. I know it's been a long time, but your girl is back. So today's look is a full glam, and we're gonna jump right into it. So to start off, I had her cleanse her face with the Micellar water, and then we moved on to moisturizer, and I used the Weleda Skin Food, the light formula. So the lighter green, not the darker green. And then I used my one size blurring primer, and right after I used my Danessa Myricks blurring balm, only in her T area. Y'all, this combo is tea. So for foundation, we're going to go ahead and use Nars, and the two shades that I'm using is New Caledonia and Namiba. And I'm also going to mix in my L'Oreal Glow Lotion, whatever you want to call it, into the mix, y'all. This is tea and never fails me. It gives the foundation like a slight glow, and it is so pretty on the skin. So of course, to blend out the foundation, I'm using my Real Techniques Insta Cheek Brush. Y'all know that this brush is my holy grail and I cannot part ways with it. So when you're blending, you want to make sure that you're using tapping motions and not swiping, because swiping does leave streaks. And you're just basically like pushing that foundation into her skin. You're going to go under her jaw and down her neck as well. So to cream contour, I'm going to grab my Curve Case palette from Made by Mitchell, and this is in the shade Deep. And I'm grabbing a brush from Shein, and I'm just carving out her face. So I'm starting at the tip of her ear, and then I'm going to carry it out to her forehead and then her nose. So for liquid blush, I'm going in with my Juvias Place blush, and this is in the shade Pink Lady. Another brush from Shein, and I'm just tapping it right above that contour and kind of under the eye and towards the hairline for a more lifted look. For concealer, I'm going in with my Too Faced Born This Way, and this is in a shade Chestnut. This is a Morphe brush. I'll put it down in the description box below. And I'm just applying it under her eye. And notice how I'm carrying it towards the hairline again, because I want a lifted look. And it's merging right in with the blush. Don't worry about that. When we blend it out, you'll see how it looks. And I always apply the under eyes first because I want it to sit the longest. And then I'll apply it to all the other areas. Now I'm going to go ahead and blend out the concealer, and I'm using a sponge, and the sponge is from IOC Cosmetics on Instagram. These sponges are so soft, and anyway, Tia put me on. She's also on Instagram. I always, of course, leave the under eyes for last because, like I said, I want them to sit the longest, and with the sponge, you're just tapping into the skin. So notice when I'm blending out the concealer under the eye, I'm blending it in the same areas that I placed that concealer. And I'm carrying it towards the hairline to keep that lifted look effect. So to brighten the eyes, I'm going in with another Too Faced concealer, and this is in the shade Caramel. And I'm just placing that under the eye area. I'm not really doing too much with it. My main focus is to brighten that under eye. Again, I'm using the same beauty blender, and I'm keeping the concealer where I placed it mainly and carrying the remainder or the residue outwards. Now I'm grabbing my foundation brush to blend everything together, basically marry everything together and make sure everything is seamless. I'm also going to go back in with the brush that I used for the liquid blush, just to bring that blush back. Now I'm grabbing my MAC Studio Fix Plus powder, and this is in NC50. Before I set the face with loose powder, I'm going to go in with the pressed powder for the under eye. I'm going to grab a powder puff and really dig into that palette and press it into the skin. You can use this technique using the Maybelline pressed powder as well. It does not have to be MAC, but I really like this technique because I feel like it makes the skin a lot more smoother, and it helps when you're applying the loose powder. And when you're doing this technique, you want to make sure that the pressed powder is at least the same shade of the concealer or closest to. You don't want to go in with a darker pressed powder because it's going to change the color of the concealer. Speaking of my good girl Maybelline, I'm going to grab my Maybelline pressed powder in the shade 355 Coconut and another Shein brush, and I'm going to use this powder to set the rest of the face. So this powder, you want to make sure that it is closest to her skin tone or the exact shade, and a fluffy brush will do, any fluffy brush. This is just one of my favorites, inexpensive, and it gets the job done. So now I'm going to grab my Huda Beauty Banana Bread to set the under eyes. Now I normally would do this right after I did the under eyes with the MAC, but it doesn't matter as long as it gets done. And I'm just going to press that powder everywhere that I placed the concealer. And I'm not gonna lie, I like to use a good amount of powder, especially under the eyes, when I'm setting, because I need everything to look flawless and I need the face to sit and last. This is a full glam after all. After I'm done with the setting powder, I always like to go back in with the brush to blend out the harsh edges of that setting powder. And now I'm going to go in with bronzer, and I'm using this from Millie Co on Instagram in the shade 6. Y'all, this is one of my favorite bronzers because it's so smooth. It's not too red. It's like a nice brown shade with a hint of red in it, and it warms up the face so nice, y'all. Y'all can see I hit pan. This is T, and I'm placing it right on top of that cream contour. I'm using the same bronzers to contour the nose, and I'm using the Shein brush. Now it's time for my favorite part, which is blush. So the first blush I'm going in with is from the Sephora collection in the shade Hey Jealousy, and I'm just applying it right on top of that liquid blush, and I'm using an e.l.f. brush, and I just like to put it more so towards the hairline as well, because again, I want the face to look lifted. The pigment on this blush is stunning. Like, this is literally one of my favorite blushes. Now I'm just going to carve out her jawline to snatch the face even more. For brows, I'm going in with the new e.l.f. Brow Lamination Gel, and I'm just going to apply it on the brows to keep the hairs in place. Now I'm carving out her brows using the same concealer we use for the face, which is Chestnut. Now I'm grabbing another Shein brush to blend out the concealer. To make sure my eyeshadow pop, I'm going in with my MAC Pink Pot in the shade Soft Ochre, and I'm going to apply on the base of the eyelids. For the eyeshadow, I'm going in with my Louise Wedding Wish XL palette, and the first shade I'm going in with is Lucky in Love, and I'm going to pack that into her crease. I'm going to pack first, and once I get the pigmentation and the color that I like, then I'll start to blend. Blending the eyeshadow for the most part is pretty simple. I'm just going back and forth, and I'm going in circular motions with my brush, as you see here. To blend out the harshness of the first shade, I'm going to go back into that palette, and this time I'm going in with the shade Flower Girl. And I'm not packing this shade, I'm just going to go straight into blending. I decided that I wanted to deepen the crease, so I went in with black eyeshadow from the same palette, and I started to blend it directly into that crease and kind of did a wing with it as well. Now I'm going back in with that darker brown that I first used to blend out the harsh edges of the black. I'm using my P. Louise concealer in Rumor Zero to create a soft crease. I'm using a Real Techniques brush, and I'm basically patting the concealer and creating a half oval shape on her eyelids. Now I'm using my NYX glitter primer, and I'm adding it on top of the white concealer. I do this because sometimes when we are using matte eyeshadow, it leaves patches, so the glitter primer allows full coverage and a seamless application. Now I'm going to pack in that nude shade, which is called Rock, right on top of that primer, and I'm just going to pack it until I like the consistency and till it's even. Now I'm going back in with my eyeshadow brush that I used for the dark brown to blend out the edges of that soft crease. Now I'm going to go ahead and do a wing liner, and I'm using eyeshadow for this, and the shades that I'm using is that dark brown mixed in with a little black. Of course, I'm always adding something to the waterline, so I'm going in with my Essence Waterproof Extreme Lasting Eyeliner Pencil, and I'm just going to fill in her waterline. I always like to smudge it a little bit just to give the bottom eyes a more exaggerated look. Now I'm smudging the bottom lash line with that dark brown eyeshadow mixed with a little bit of black. So here we're just going to go ahead and apply the lashes that she picked out, and I felt like they complemented this look so good. So I decided I wanted to do a cat eye, and everything was going good until my girl blinked and the liner got on her eyelid and it's ink blot, so I decided to do it to the other side since it kind of looked like the design of the look anyways. To line her lips, I'm using the ColourPop Cream Gel Liner in the shade Sunnyvale. I really like this lip liner. It just breaks easy, so just be careful with that. But we followed the natural shapes of her lips. They're already full, so we didn't need to do too much. Y'all, excuse my head and my hat. I did not realize when I was recording that my head was in the way in a couple of the shots. So, yeah. For lipstick, I'm going in with the Patrick Tot, and she's Unapologetic. Oh, this is my go-to. And I'm applying that in the middle of her lips, and I'm making her blot her lips together, not rub. And after that, I'm going to grab a brush and blend it. Now I'm going in with my Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Press Powder in the shade 450, and I'm using this press powder to press in all of the Huda Beauty loose powder except for the under eyes. For the under eyes, I'm going in with a lighter shade, which is 410. And again, you can do all of this with either the MAC or Maybelline press powders. I just like using different powders, but the Fenty Beauty powder, I will say, is so smooth. And I'm just dusting the under eyes. I'm going in with my Juvias Place press powder in the shade Dark just to warm up her face a little more. You don't have to do this, but I like to add more bronzer, especially because sometimes the loose powder takes away the warmth of the face. Of course, I always double blush, sometimes triple. So I'm using my Juvias Place blush in the shade Volume 4, and I'm applying it in the same areas as I did with the previous blush. This blush just does something. It just gives the look an extra kick, and I'm all here for it. Now I'm doing the brows, and I'm going in with my Morphe pencil in the shade Java. The brows weren't really my main focus on this look, but you know, we still got to do it. So I just filled in her natural brows slightly, nothing too crazy, going in the same direction as her natural brow hairs. So to finish up the lips, I'm going in with my Dose of Color in the shade Can You Not. Anybody who knows me knows that this is one of my OGs, and I'm adding it right on top of the lipstick. This gloss, it just does something to the lips. Ugh, it is perfection. So I'm going to go ahead and hydrate the skin with my Morphe Continuous Spray, and while it dries down, I'm going to grab my foundation brush to push in the product. Now I'm going in with my Essence Mascara to bring out her bottom lashes. I never let a client leave without giving them bottom lashes. Okay, baby, you're going to walk out of here with bottom inks. And I was scraping the bottle because it was finished. That's why I was using the applicator on her, because I'm not throwing nothing out until it's empty. And to set the whole face, I'm using my One Size Setting Spray. I love this spray, y'all. But dang, it be feeling like the bottle is full of air. And you have to make sure that you drench your clients, or you didn't do it right. And this is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and loved it, because your girl did. Tell me in the comments how you guys feel about this look, and what other looks or tutorials would you guys like to see. Thank you for watching. Until next time.
Girl with you.